emotional, were running low, and the square was getting more squalid every day. Some concerned intellectuals had set up joint meetings involving workers and citizens groups, the independent student unions, and the Defend Tiananmen Square headquarters. They had been meeting regularly since May 23rd. Wang Dan acted as liaison among them.
At a meeting on May 27th, Chai Ling and Feng Congde reported on the situation in the square. The impression we got was that things were really chaotic. There was endless factional infighting, and sanitary conditions were terrible. We began to doubt whether anything positive could come out of this ongoing stalemate. So we drafted a proposal. The vote in favor of it was unanimous, including Chai Ling. Later, we held a press conference in the square to announce this proposal. After the press conference, Li Lu raised objections to our proposal. Then Chai Ling changed her mind and decided to oppose it too.
The people who made the decision to leave the square on May 30th had a very negative effect on the movement. I attended the meeting, but I didn't realize at the time how harmful the decision would be. The real issue at the meeting was that some people were trying to use the movement to make themselves famous, and we opposed this. I want to say to everyone that the square is our only stronghold. If we lose it, the conservatives will overrun China.
I regret we didn't debate the issue further. Although we had many good arguments in our favor, we felt we couldn't compete with the emotional appeal of their position. So we gave up. I think we should have acted more responsibly. After that, I thought that any attempt to influence the situation on the square would be futile. There was nothing more I could do. So I decided to go back to campus and do what I could to further democracy there.
Why did the students want to stay at Tiananmen? Because our goal was to awaken the people. Tiananmen is the symbol of our people's republic. When we took action there, we were telling people throughout the country that there were still some of us who dared to fight back. A lot of students felt that the longer we held out, the more time people would have to think freely. We held a meeting at the square every night. 200 to 300 representatives from the various universities would get together. The issue of whether or not to leave came up almost every time. At least 80% of the students always voted to stay. If we were to stick to the principle of majority rule, it was impossible to leave the square.
The student population at the square was constantly changing. As those who grew discouraged or disgusted left, they were replaced by enthusiastic newcomers from all over the country. At any one time, there was a majority on the square who would vote to stay. Those who thought it best to leave voted with their feet. As the students debated whether or not to continue their occupation of the square, a marathon benefit concert was being held on a racetrack in Hong Kong. Millions of dollars were raised for the movement in Beijing.